Open any news site from Asia, and the headline feels familiar. A food delivery app raising $50 million. A new e commerce platform promises same day delivery. Yet another fintech startup is giving out microloans in minutes. The stories are from different countries, different names, but the idea is same. From Jakarta to Jaipur, from Ho Chi Minh to Hyderabad, everyone is building the same startups. A Swiggy here, a Grab there, a Shopee, a Paytm, a Gojek, a Lajda, a Flipkart, a Tokopedia. But why? Is it just copy paste or a wave of lazy cloning? Or maybe something bigger is going on? Because this is not just a trend, it's a pattern, a wave that hit entire regions at the same time, building identical startups in different countries without ever meeting each other. But if this is just imitation, how do you explain them all growing, raising funds, and serving millions? The real question is why we are still building all the same things at the same time. And the answer might say more about Asia's future more than any business ever could. Startups may begin with ideas, but they grow with capital. And in Asia, the capital arrived like a storm. Around in early 2010s, some things shifted. Big name venture capital firms, Sequoia, SoftBank, Tiger Global, GGV, and Tencent started pouring billions into Asia. It was not just in India, not just in China, but across Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, Singapore. But they were not funding uniqueness, they were funding patterns, funding what already worked somewhere else. If a model worked in the US or China, bring it to Asia, clone it, localize it, scale it. And here's how it goes. Flipkart in India was inspired by Amazon. Ola was inspired from Uber. Tokopedia, Grab looks like just another competitor of Uber. But was it laziness or some strategy? Actually, the venture capitalists knew the market gaps were real. They had the money, founders had the hunger, and timing was everything. Therefore, across the region, you suddenly had a startup with the same playbooks, same decks, same slogan, just in different language. And in this race, speed mattered more than originality. Market capture was larger than innovation. User growth was prime focus, product was secondary. Because the faster you build, the faster you get funded. But when funding leads the story, does the product still belongs to the people? Or does it belong to the shareholders? Or does it belongs to the spreadsheets? When we imagine startup founders, we picture rivals, hackers in garage, underdogs with wild ideas. But Asia's startup wave was not built by underdogs. It was built by elites. IIT, IIM, INSEAD, Stanford, ex-McKinsey, ex-Google, ex-Flipkart. Founders across Asia were not unknown. They were well-groomed insiders. They were armed with MBA, pitch desk, and venture capitalist connections. And this created something unexpected, a kind of founder template. Solve a middle urban class people problem, design the apps with Western UI UX, scale with VC money, and exit or IPO in 5 to 7 years. And therefore, across Asia, startups started to feel, and therefore, across Asia, startups started to look the same, not just the product, the founders, the thinking, the approach, everything. And that sameness created blind spots. Because if all the founders come from the same world, who was building for the rest of us? And yet, despite the sameness, people downloaded, they ordered, they paid, they stayed. The question is why? Because the problems were real. From Delhi to Denang, Bangkok to Bangalore, people wanted fast food, clean rides, easy loan, online tutor, 10-minute groceries, and other things which the startups are opting these days. But this demand did not come from TED Talk or startup books. It come from life, real life scenarios. In these countries, infrastructure was poor, people were overworked, the aspirations were rising, and they are still rising too. Therefore, what looks like copy paste is sometimes just parallel evolution. Same cities, same struggles, same solutions, emerging independency. So now just talk about the real question. Is the Asia just a continent full of copycats, a lazy game of startup duplication, or is it something deeper? Because not every similar idea is stolen. Sometimes it's convergence. A startup in India and another in Vietnam may never meet. But if both their users want cheap groceries, fast payment, and job listing on their phone, why would not they build the same thing? But what if it's not intimation but synchronization, a kind of economic life mind? Millions of people wanting the same service at the same time without talking to each other. Founders don't always copy, sometimes they are just tuning to the same frequency. And the result is a startup that looks like clone, but are actually mirror reflection of each country's unmet needs. Therefore, what we are seeing across Asia is not just a copy paste wave. It's a continent going through the same digital awakening. Different language, different laws, but the momentum is same. Because when pain point aligns, solutions start to rhyme. So the case would not be the same forever. The first wave was about copying, the second wave it's about transformation. Now that Asia's basic startup infrastructure is in place, apps for transport, delivery, payment, and e-commerce, the new game is localization and innovation. Grab in Southeast Asia is not just a ride app, it's a wallet, an insurance provider, and a food platform. India's ONDC is not just Amazon, it's an attempt to open source e commerce. In Indonesia, we have FinTech Boom. That boom is blending Islamic finance with mobile technology. But unlike the first wave, these are not clones. They are custom evolution, which are shaped by local culture, regulation, and user behavior. Therefore, the startups that survive now would not be the fastest or most funded. They will be the one who deeply understand their people, the one that move from global blueprint to local truth. At the first glance, Asia's startup scenes look like copy factory. Same apps, same UX, same VC names. But look closer, and now we will see something more profound. A generation trying to fix their cities, trying to save time, serve their parents, stretch their money, and still build something that works. Yes, copying, yes, there's a hype, but there's also need, urgency, and intelligence. And if people across Asia are building the same thing at the same time, maybe it's not just because they lack ideas. Maybe it's because they are facing the same future. Therefore, the real question is not who launched first. The real question is, are we building a startup for funding, or are we building a startup for the people who will use them? And only time will tell which ones were products and which one becomes infrastructure.